Welcome to Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Sergeant Eric Landrum is alongside me as typical on these Friday evenings, and we are delighted to be able to bring you Football Friday Kickoff live once again from the beautiful Unioto High School. Big shout out to the guys here. They've got us set up. They've even got us a little helmet for the show. We're all ready to go here at Unioto. Got a big game coming up in just a couple of hours here between the Sherman Tanks of Unioto and the Zane Trace Pioneers. Big time flag marking game in the SVC. We're going to discuss a lot about that matchup later on. Battle of great running backs in that game. Some other huge games around our area. We're going to talk about all of them and more. But first, we got to zoom out. We are in that time of the year. I know it's crazy. It's flying by for all my people out there, but it is getting close to start looking at those websites, start looking at those points, and just start marking them up. So I'm going to give you, I know you've got the conference standings. I'm going to let you roll those through in a second, but I'm going to give you some of these big playoff markers, and we'll start up in the topmost region that has the teams that we cover in it, which is Region 11. And again, the big story in this region is that the Athens Bulldogs are currently 6-0, and they're in the 11th spot in this region.
Yeah.
They can go 10-0 and not play a home playoff game. They could go 9-1 and miss the playoffs. It's incredulous, but it's really because they played a schedule with teams that haven't had the success that they've had. And look, credit to them, they have rolled through everybody they've played. But that win against Nelsonville York is going to be big.
Yeah, it is. But, week to week for Athens, you control what you control. Tonight, I think they're in for a little tougher contest than they've had, which will be interesting to see how Athens handles that battle there as they take on Megs tonight. A little bit higher power offense than the Bulldogs are used to seeing. But you're right. You control what you control if, you're Nathan White and company. Take it week to week, and you've got to make sure when that opportunity knocks on the door in week 10 that you're there to answer the call.
I mean, we might be there.
We
might be there in person. It's
we may be there
really
to answer the call as well.
I hope so.
Did.
I hope so. A quick note about Athens. Anthony Sutton is dealing with a high ankle sprain. We will see how that affects him throughout the season. Again, Athens is hoping to have him back at the very latest by that Week 10 game. It's not a season-ending injury, but he is dealing with an injury. It knocked him out of last week's matchup. If you're here at Unioto, you might notice something. You might notice that you might be able to hear us across the speakers. That's a huge shout-out to Coach Hoops and the administration here at Unioto. They're getting us out over the speakers here at the high school. So if you're live here in person and you're coming down to watch the Sherman Tanks play ball later tonight, you'll be able to hear our show right up until 6:30, where we'll be rolling, previewing all these great matchups. We're very much looking forward to having that. So again, huge shout out to Coach Hoops and that squad. Let's talk about Unioto in Region 15. They're in a bye spot right now in that number 4 position. We've got New Lexington, Jonathan Alder, Indian Creek above them right now, and at 6-0. Those are the 4 6-0 teams in the region. Again, some other schools we cover right behind them as well. You've got Westfall right now, who are in 16th. They're somebody who probably needs a big win or two down the stretch if they want to try and get into the postseason. A couple other squads, including Gallia Academy and Vinton County, going to need to really turn around in the second half if they want to try to get in. We got to go down to 12 real quick because we got Jackson and Miami Trace in there. Right now, the Panthers, they got a big one coming up later today. They got that big win over Chillicothe last week. They're at 6-0, one of 5 6-0 teams in this region. They are currently sitting in the 4th position, and Jackson right now in the 9th position in this region. Jackson, big bounce back win last week. They'll look to try and keep that momentum going against McLean later on tonight. Let's go to Region 19, where obviously Wheelersburg and Ironton, your top 2, but the Buckeyes jump up into number 3. Nelsonville York in that bye spot. Plenty of other teams, including Zane Trace, who are in this region now. They were in 20 last year. They move over to 19. They are in the 5th spot, so it could be a big win today. Could potentially get them in the conversation for that bye in Region 19, should they be able to get that one. A couple other big schools. Valley is just on the inside right now, and right behind them at 11 and 12 right here, you've got Valley and Colegrove. two teams with massive games coming up tonight, and the team right behind them, Harvest Prep, who have big games coming up, who really can't afford to lose. So the margin for error is not very high for some of these teams. And you got a couple of big teams on the outside looking in this region. In 14, 15, 16, 17 are all big schools that we cover. You've got Portsmouth at 14, Northwest at 15, Fairland at 16, and Piketon at 17. All those schools got some work to do if they want to make it in the postseason.
Yeah, they do, and that's the fun of that region right there, that 519. If you love Southeastern Ohio football, get your popcorn because that's the region to keep an eye on. The top 1 and 2, I think we know where that one may fall in the postseason, but outside of that, it's a free-for-all of high school football.
It really is wild. If you're watching us on stream, you might have noticed a couple of the Unioto players are out here getting ready behind us, and you might notice that they're not wearing these white helmets tonight.
We got the leftovers, Sarge.
Yeah, we did get the leftovers because they're wearing brand new purple helmets tonight. It's a blackout here at Unioto. They're looking to try and shut out that Zane Trace threat. Should be a really good game. Let's go down to Region 23 now briefly. You've got a lot of really good schools at the top of this region as well. 4 more 6-0 teams here at the top, including West Jefferson, who've bounced back really well this year. But Fort Fry, the top school in this region that we're keeping an eye on, they're at 4-1. They're in that 5th spot right now. They're probably going to need one of those teams to drop one if they want to jump up into that bye spot. But I think the Cadets are probably feeling really good about where they're at the moment, considering the way they've played the last few weeks. And then after that loss last week, Eastern Megs, they're the ones who they're on the outside looking in right now in 17th place in this region. They really need to try and find some momentum. Could be a big one today against Wahama from West Virginia. While it's not a school in Ohio, they will get a lot of coefficient points should they get this victory over a very good out-of-state school.
Yeah, very good out-of-state school that's quite
very good might be selling them short.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's elite.
That, quite frankly, they're an elite offense. It doesn't matter which state you're looking at right now. The Wahama White Falcons can put up points. It'll be interesting to see if Eastern can slow them down tonight. That's a big task for the Eagles.
Big time. And they've got a big one coming up. They've got a tough task slowing down that running back, that rushing offense for Wahama. We'll discuss that one a little bit later on. Let's go down to 24 real quick. Rock Hill in first spot in this region. There's actually an unbeaten school in this region. It's Tri-Village out in New Madison. But Rock Hill's got a little bit more of those coefficients, a little bit more of those level 2 points, which we've explained a few times on this program. It's the points that you get from the teams you've beaten. So, for example, let's say Unioto beats Zane Trace tonight. They would get the points from the teams that Zane Trace has beaten. It's the biggest reason why Athens is struggling right now in 11th spot, despite the fact that they haven't dropped the game, because they've beaten a lot of teams that don't have a lot of wins, long story short. So, again, we're looking good there for Rock Hill. They're feeling really good. I mean, you got Coldwater lurking there in the 3rd spot. That's always a tough school to take down. You got Portsmouth West right now just on the inside at 3-3. They're in the 11th position. You got Adena in 16th at 2-3, and Southeastern in 19th at 2-4. So a couple of SVC schools trying to make their way back in. Let's go down to the final division. That is Division 7, and we'll start in Region 27. We've got to do 2 more in this one, 27 and 28. We'll start out in 27 where there's a couple of unbeatens, including Sims Valley, who are in the 3rd position right now, 6-0. Of course, monster matchup for the Vikings tonight against the Beaver Eastern Eagles. We're going to discuss a lot about that game. You've got Waterford in 5th right now at the 4-2 position. You've got Trimble right now in 6th at 4-2. Again, this is a little bit of a top-heavy region, in my opinion. You've got a lot of schools that are kind of fighting and jostling for position in this middle. And this is another region where we're going to be waiting very late on Friday night of Week 10 to see who makes it in and who doesn't make it in. You'll remember last year, we actually had to wait until Saturday to figure out who made it and who didn't in this region because there was a game that Saturday, I believe, between Eastern and Southern, which is the case again this year. It's a Saturday game. And that may well prove to be a difference maker when it comes to some of those L2 points. So you've got Miller in there at 11th, River at 13th. So, and then South Gallia, I did not mention. They are in 8th position. Let's go down to 28. Last one, we've got some real good schools in this region, including, of course, one of the best teams in the entire state in the Marion Local Flyers. But you've got a couple of big schools in our area that have big games tonight and coming up that have unbeaten records at the moment. How about Portsmouth Notre Dame in the 3rd position? What a first year for head coach Bolden. Just an unbelievable start to his life as Notre Dame head football coach. They're 6-0. Beaver Eastern's in there in the 5th spot. They're kind of flying. Is it weird for me to say that they're flying under the radar a little bit this year?
It's a pun, but I don't know if it's weird.
They
are the Eagles.
But the thing is, for me, and the weird thing about that, I think is it's just, well, they all of a sudden just have won. They haven't lost in the regular season in almost 2 years, right? It's kind of just, they're 6-0 again. Yeah. It's become the expectation, right? And that's 100% a huge credit to Coach Tomlinson and everything that program has become and stood for over the last couple of years. But again, they got work to do, and they've got some big games coming up, especially these next 2 weeks, where they can really continue to push that narrative that the Eagles are here to stay. They've got a big one coming up tonight against Sims Valley, who we just mentioned. So those are the big 2 schools in that region. That'll pretty much wrap things up for where we are postseason-wise. Eric, now I'll let you take over. You've got some conference standings for us. Why don't you run that here and get us where some of these schools are, and why don't you start off with a conference that is just so even right now, the FAC. A lot of really good schools in this one.
It's going to be a fun conference to take a look at week to week as this conference unfolds. Of course, it kicked off last weekend. Miami Trace right now is the head of the conference at 6-0. Shortly after that is Jackson, who took down Hillsborough. Both of those squads are 4-2 at the moment. Jackson bounced back in a nice way. I thought impressed against Hillsborough. And that Jackson-Miami Trace matchup is back on track, I think, where it was going into the regular season here. And then Washington Courthouse, Miami Trace, and McLean, all 3-3 squads heading into tonight. Nothing more you can say. It's going to be fun to watch this play out. Very even keel conference. The most competitive it's been probably since 2017. We'll get to one more here before our first break if we're on that point. Let's go ahead and talk about the SVC.
Why not?
It's SVC season,
we are
Sarge.
We're right on the banks of the Scioto River.
We are right here at Unioto. Let's keep it here. Unioto Zane Trace. I think this is kind of the week 10 of the TVC Ohio that we're looking forward to, right? Going to be the big one here. 6-0 Unioto, 5-1 Zane Trace. The rest of the conference is all for second, third, and fourth, in my opinion. Westfall, 4-2, Piketon at 3-3. Tonight, Huntington is going to be taking on Paint Valley. I think that'll be a kind of a telling case there for Huntington there. And then, of course, Dean, in the 7 spot at 3-3. Competitive conference all the way around.
Very competitive. Yeah, another conference with almost everybody above 500, with the exception of Paint Valley, who, again, have had a little bit of a down year, losing their head coach in the offseason. Again, a little bit of a tough. Yeah, it is a little bit of a rebuild, and I think they would tell you the same thing out there in Bearcat country. We'll step aside for the first time today on Football Friday Kickoff, but don't worry, don't go anywhere. We got plenty more coming for you live here from Unioto High School. Keep that dial turned or keep that YouTube stream on, whatever you watch or you listen. We appreciate your eyes and your ears here. You're listening or watching to Football Friday Kickoff.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dan Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers.
Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoles.com to donate today.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Welcome back to Unioto High School. Sergeant Art Langdon with you here for the next hour and change. We preview all the big matchups around the 7-4-0 in tonight's Week 7 action. It's about 5:16 Eastern Time now, 7 o'clock for the majority of these games. And again, you can listen to the majority of these games across the Total Media Network. We've got a bunch of games on our YouTube channel right here. If you're watching us on the stream, you can tune into a variety of matchups that we've got on there. And then, of course, if we don't have it on stream, we've more likely than not got it on our radios. And the best part about that is even if you don't have a dial or a maybe you're a little bit more old-fashioned, or maybe you're not, maybe you're like me, maybe you're young and you've got an iPhone or one of these, you know what you could do? You could just download the Total Media app. You can listen anywhere in the world. If you're in Antarctica and you want to listen to Unioto Sherman Tank football, that's the place to do it.
And they'll do it.
And we've seen listeners from everywhere, so it's cool to see. We had a couple more conference standings to run through. Let's go to the TVC,
Yes,
because obviously I think we'll start with the TVC Ohio, because we just mentioned this a little bit ago about how it's kind of setting up for that big Super Bowl coming in Week 10.
Yeah, it all boils down to Week 10 there. Athens, Nelsonville, York, both are 6-0. The foreseeable future looks clean for both of those schools until that Week 10 matchup. Right now, Alexander 3-3 in the third spot, followed by Meigs, who's 2-4. Wellston at 1-5. Well, actually, River Valley would come in the fifth spot there, at 1-5, after they picked up the win over Wellston. 3-0 a week ago. 3-0. An absolute
the kick
brawl.
went in with 32 seconds on the clock, I believe. 32
just
seconds
over 30.
with the final kick, one of the last kicks of the game. And big shout out to that program for getting a win. Good on the Raiders.
First time since 2022, Sarge.
Wow.
It's been a minute for Raiders fans, and then of course Benton County right now in that 7 spot in the Ohio. But again, it comes down to Week 10 in that conference.
It does.
It really does.
It does, and that game is going to be so much fun. We're going to hear from a couple of Buckeye players later on in the program. Alec Thompson and Austin Gautier join me on the Coaches Show. We're going to bring that over to you here on Football Friday Night, because I think they say some great things. They're both very well-spoken young men. We're going to have them join the program from what they did on Tuesday. Let's go to the TVC Hocking real quick.
Yeah, let's do it, man. 2 4-2 squads leading that conference right now. Waterford, Trimble. It's looking like things are shaping up to be fun there. Eastern still in the mix at 3-2, one less win on the schedule. In the 4 spot is Belpre at 2-4, and followed by a couple of 1-win teams. Fedhawk at 1-4 as well, or Southern at 1-4, and Fedhawk at 1-5. So
yeah,
rounding it out there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you've got, I believe, Waterford Trimble is I think it's next week. So that's a big one.
Big one there.
Keep an eye on that matchup, and probably will, more likely than not, determine where the TVC Hocking crown goes in 2025. Let's go to the SOC 2 divisions here. Don't think you have to spend a ton of time besides reading the standings in the first one, because I think Berg is going to have their way with the rest of the conference.
Yeah, it's Wheelersburg, then the rest. Valley's still holding up strong at 5-1. Looks like a solid second-place squad. But then 3-3 squad Northwest, 3-3 squad Portsmouth West, and then 2-4 Minford, 1-5 Oak Hill, who also, let's go ahead and mention them as well, since we did River Valley.
They also got a great win.
Picked up a
Huge
nice
shout
win
out to them as well.
Over the team I'll mention next, Waverly at 0-6 still.
Yeah.
So they're bringing up the back end of things, complete rebuild in Tiger Town.
Absolutely.
But Berg's going to run away with it, right?
Berg is going to run away with it. Nobody's running away with the SOC 1, though.
No.
You have 4
Let's have some
teams,
fun.
4 teams at 5-1 or better. You've got, I believe, 3 unbeatens at the moment in Eastern, Notre Dame, and Sims Valley. One of those teams will no longer be unbeaten tonight. It's a potential all 3 are no longer unbeaten by next week. It's chaos in this conference.
It's a bloodbath of a conference right now. Eastern and Sims Valley, as well as Portsmouth Notre Dame, you mentioned it, all three 6-0 squads at the moment. 4-2, South Gallia bringing up the 4th place spot, and then winless Green, winless East. But the top 4 in this conference
Pretty crazy.
is so much fun, and we're going to peek ahead, possibly be at one of these games next week in this conference. We'll talk about that one later. We don't want to reveal ourselves.
I guess the big thing is, so me and Eric sat down probably in the early weeks of August, and we did the first 7 weeks, right? We planned it out. So this is the last week of the show that we had planned, right?
Yep.
Not to say we don't have more plans, right? We are going to be moving.
Got
we're
big
going to be
plans.
We're going to be
Huge
on
plans.
we're going to be on the road every week. We just don't. We're not going to reveal them just yet. We've got big opportunities. We wanted to wait and see how the season shook out, and it's shaken out in, about as good a way as it could. So we're going to be at some fun spots over the next couple of weeks. Very much looking forward to seeing where the show takes us for the rest of the season. Obviously, we could have some great playoff matchups as well that we're hoping to take the show on the road to as well. One more conference, and this one is truly chaos as well. The OVC. You've got Rock Hill at the top, and then everybody else just a couple of paces behind.
Just a couple behind, and it feels like more of a toss-up in the middle than some other conferences here. Let's get to it. Rock Hill at 5-1, Coalgrove at 4-2. They're doing what they can to get themselves to the top of this conference. A huge one tonight between 3-3 Portsmouth, 3-3 Fairland. Both of those squads bringing up 3-4. That's a huge game tonight. Gallia Academy and Dalton Gerald doing what they can. They're at 2-4, as well as South Point in this conference, and then 0-6 Chesapeake bringing up the 7th spot, the rear of the conference. But that's going to be pure chaos in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Yeah, and there's no, I even though I think Rock Hill is the clear front runner at the moment, no, it's not like Wheelersburg in the SOC2 where, Wheelersburg, more likely than not, it would take something pretty earth-shattering for them to not win that conference.
Miracle.
This conference is anybody's, right? And Rock Hill won't tell you that. They'll think they're the favorites, and they deserve to be.
Sure.
But they haven't finished the job yet, and there's still plenty of football to be played. We've got every team's got 4 games left on the schedule, so we're going to wait to see how that shakes out. Let's get into a couple of our game previews. We're going to save Portsmouth Fairland because I got a clip that some Portsmouth fans may need to plug their ears for, but I have a clip, last year's game. A lot of the mind to that one. We're going to talk about that one in just a second. Let's talk about a couple other games first. Let's start out with that matchup I just mentioned a second ago. It's the Bend game of the week between Wahama and Eastern. This is a classic rivalry. 2 teams, that are right on the West Virginia border pretty much. Wahama right out there in the Mason area. Eastern just across the border in Reedsville, right? High scoring this game. Yeah. Very typically high scoring. The last couple of meetings have been an average of over 80 points per game. Last year's meeting was a 55-31 victory for the White Falcons in this Battle of Birds. But the thing for Eastern this week, and they struggled with it a little bit last week against Waterford, is going to be slowing down the run. Wahama's run game is unbelievable. How do they slow that down?
Well, it really comes down to doing it on all fronts. You got to, in special teams, you got to come away with the right field position yourself. You got to have long drives on offense, and then on defense, you got to convert in big situations. Find a way to get the offense behind the sticks, long third and long situations, and then convert. Defensively, you have to convert, get back on the field, your offense, and then milk the clock, draw the clock out. And you got to take advantage of your opportunities. They're going to be few and far between in the red zone.
Turnovers.
You have to score.
Yep.
If you turn the ball over, Larry Hall sat at Wheelersburg last week and said, "You turn the ball over, you give yourselves no shot." Football is more of the same this week.
Yep.
You got to take advantage of your opportunities.
Absolutely, and you got to make sure that you actually get in those positions. I think the clock is a great point because I think if the Eastern blueprint to winning this game is having vast majority of the time of possession. I think they want to control this game, keep it out of that Wahama offense's hands, keep it out of that big play back's hands, and try and just control this game in the tempo and in the time of possession. Let's jump to the FAC. 2 big ones in this game. Really, all 3 games are big, but we'll talk on 2 in specific. We'll start out with the Jackson Ironmen. They've got the McLean Tigers tonight. Jackson's historically dominated this matchup. 27 wins in the 35 matchups that these 2 schools have played. Last year was a Jackson massacre, 55-0. The last time that McLean beat Jackson was in 1978. What's the big thing for McLean tonight if they want to try to pull what would be a shocker?
Well, first of all, you've got to find a way to take advantage advantage of the youngest Jackson defense that you've seen in quite some time. For McLean, that's going to be relatively difficult because we thought Hillsborough would have an opportunity to do that a week ago, and Hillsborough had a hard time just keeping themselves in that football game. So you've got to take advantage of opportunities where you can. Maybe make Bodie Mulford make a mistake or two. He hasn't really done that this year. Maybe get him to make a mistake and capitalize. But the mental hurdle that McLean's got with Jackson's a real thing right now.
Yeah, it is. And I think the big thing for Jackson, right, Bodie came back last week, and that's big news for Jackson, right? The offense looked a little lost without Bodie Wolford behind and under center, and for good reason, right? He's been such a good player for them down the years. Now year 3 as a starter. But when you look at what Jackson could do, having Bodie Wolford under center just opens up so many avenues offensively, right? Now teams can stop keying in on Ryan Simons, and you can unleash him a little bit. He had an unbelievable game by all accounts last week. I believe over 180 yards from scrimmage, something like that. It was a big number. That's all I know for sure. And then again, the big thing for Jackson tonight is they can't look ahead. They've got that big Miami Trace matchup coming up very shortly, right? I want to say it's week 9. But again, you can't get caught looking ahead because this conference this year can punish you if you look ahead.
Yeah, it will. And it's like we said, it's the most competitive conference, and this year it's the most unforgiving conference that we've seen in quite some time. And you know, let's look a spot above where McLean's sitting right now at Chillicothe. Chillicothe can strike at any time offensively, and you know, you're a mistake or two away from slipping up to that squad any given Friday night. So again, every night is going to be. We're going to look at this conference all season long and go, there's 2 to 3 great football games every Friday night.
Yeah, well, let's talk about another one, and the team you just mentioned, the Chillicothe Cavaliers, back on the road this week, back out in a similar spot they were last week, taking on Washington Courthouse. Been a good story this year for the Blue Lions, 4-2 in Coach Williamson's return to the program. Some interesting things about this Washington Courthouse squad. They got a quarterback, Sam Pfeiffer. He's a sophomore. He's thrown for 1,584 yards, and he's completed 62% of his passes and 20 touchdowns. He's averaging about 260 yards a game in the air. A couple of the big names to know on the weapons side, Aiden Osborne is the big target. 42 catches for 753 yards and 8 scores. He's not the only one, though. They've got Noah Haithcock as well, 35 catches for 375 yards and 6 scores. So he can pass the ball around. They've got the run game. The big thing with this, they are pass first. You don't see that a lot. Some teams will blend it. A lot of teams in SEO are run first. This is a pass first. They only have 370 rushing yards on the season. So this is a pass-first offense, and that's an interesting threat for a Chillicothe team that's very good up front, but the secondary is largely untested.
It is largely untested because Chillicothe's seen some pretty daggone good run-heavy teams.
Yeah,
but I look
last week's the perfect example.
look back to Western Brown, you know, another squad that's traditionally pass-heavy, and, you know, Chillicothe made the plays they needed to make to stay in that football game and come away with a win that night. And when you're in conference play on the road, you need to do exactly that, make the plays you need to make. And I think it'll be a test for that young secondary tonight. We'll see what they're capable of.
The big thing for Chillicothe, switching over to the other side of the football, Chillicothe on offense, Courthouse on defense. For Courthouse, keep an eye on Matthew Coleflesh. He's got 14 tackles for loss and 5 sacks, so he'll be the disruptor at the outside linebacker spot for the Blue Lions. But for Chillicothe, everybody knows Carte by now. It is not a secret what Carte Ligon has been able to do for the Cavaliers. So who's that second guy? I talked about this last week when we were previewing the Miami Trace game. Owen Wood, Carter Williams. Both of those guys are young, but both of those guys are being tasked with stepping into bigger roles if teams do key in on Carte Ligon. So how can TJ Carper and that offense try to get them more involved? I think it starts at the quarterback position with Tay Harris.
It does, and you A, make Tay Harris comfortable, and B, get different looks early in the game. Figure out what matchups and advantages you like with your weapons and try to get them on, you know, try to get slots on linebackers, try to get receivers on safeties, those types of looks. And if you can find ways to mix and match with your personnel, you give yourselves a really good chance on the road. And by the way, you've still got to worry about Carte Ligon in the backfield, who's averaging 200 a night, basically.
A lot a night, and he has been fantastic. And look, if you can get those secondary options open, all of a sudden those lanes start forming. All of a sudden gap assignments get missed, and all of a sudden Carte Ligon's got a hole, and there aren't a lot of people that can catch that guy in the open field. When we come back, we're going to relive one of the craziest games from 2024. It was an instant classic between Fairland and Portsmouth. We've got the recording. We're going to play it back and talk about just what went down in the Coliseum last year and why it stung so much for the Portsmouth faithful. We'll discuss that when we return. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people, all to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank, working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dane Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Welcome back to Football Friday Kickoff. Last year, the game between Portsmouth and Fairland was not only vitally important in terms of just it being a classic rivalry, two OVC foes going head-to-head, but also because both of these squads were directly fighting for the OVC crown. I believe they were both in the 6 to 7 win range at this point, and when you look at just how important this matchup was, for the way that it ended and what went down, many Portsmouth fans will remember what happened. We're going to discuss it after a second. I'm going to play the recording. Again, got to say, this is courtesy of the Fairland Dragons Network over on YouTube. Let me set the scene before we play this clip. Portsmouth had played great defensively in this game. It was 21-14. This was the final play. Fairland had gotten the ball to about the 27-yard line of the Trojans. I'm going to give a quick I mean, this game was a year ago. It's not a spoiler. Fairland scores on the Hail Mary attempt. You're going to hear that clip in a second. But then after that is where the controversy happened. And you're going to hear the great guys over at the Fairland Dragons Network kind of play that out for you here over the next 2 minutes. So I'll let the clip play. We'll discuss what happened and then what changes in this year's matchup. Here it is.
And 3 safeties. And this one is deep down into the end zone. Did he cut it? He caught it! He caught it! Lord! Holy cow, he caught it. Watch this, Coach. Keegan Smith went up, took it away. Wow. Wow, what a a play. Now we got to go for 2.
And we don't have a timeout. So Coach Jackson's got to get a play in there.
3 yards to victory for the Dragons.
It's a game.
That's the game.
Run that back, Jerry. I don't know what happened there.
That was an illegal forward lateral. Right here is illegal. It's forward.
Can we go all the way back, Jerry?
No, play lasted too long.
Okay. Well, if that's a flag on us, the game's over.
Yeah.
That's, like you said, that's a legal forward. So it's done. It's over.
And
back out.
Sideline warning.
Oh.
5-yard penalty. Be half the distance.
Oh, what? What in the world? Well, we're not down on the field, so we don't know.
The ball will be placed at the 1.5-yard line. In the light.
It's over there.
That's not our. Going to get a slant pass here, Coach?
I don't know what we're going to get. Here we go.
Told you. That's good. That's a game. That's a game.
Dragons win.
That's a game. Wow.
Dragons win. And what number was one of the wildest finishes?
I don't know who. I didn't see the
I think it was Jack Hayden.
Let's go back and watch the replay. Hold on.
So basically what ended up happening is there was they got it, they go for 2. They don't get it. They tried this little shovel pass play. It was well read by the Trojans, and the team just sprints on the field. Why wouldn't you? Huge win,
Sure.
Huge game. The officials stood on the field for about 5 minutes. This is real time. They stood there for 5 minutes, kind of like you and I are right now, just discussing, right? They shooed play. I watched this replay earlier today. They shooed people away. This was I think the 5 guys on that crew just stood there and they were conversing about it. They ended up calling a sideline warning on Portsmouth. I don't know if it was their first of the game or what. If it was the first of the game, it's supposed to be just that. It's supposed to be a warning. But they called it after the play should have already been dead. So essentially they called it for, again, Portsmouth fans, plug your ears, no reason.
Sure.
So Fairland then gets a second try. They hit that, again, the commentator, credit to him, he called it. It was the little slant route on the inside, touchdown, Fairland wins. You think that's on the mind of Coach Kalb and that Portsmouth squad today? Just a little. I think some of those seniors, I think about Trevin Brooks on the inside, who you actually watch on the replay come off, helmet comes off, and you could just read the disappointment on his face. You think he's not thinking about that today?
Yeah.
I think he's thinking about that today. And this is a key matchup, right? 2 schools, both at 3-3. Both have had mixed results so far in the conference. And the loser of this game is going to kind of be scrambling at 3-4, not just in their OVC lives, but for their playoff lives.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely want to be the one to come out on top, because if not, your season looks a little bit meek, looking towards the future of the conference, looking towards the future of the playoffs. It very much, especially in that region, feels like a do-or-die game tonight for both of these teams. And that's what shapes up these games to be classic. I mean, you know, if they didn't have great records last year, it's just another kind of game that ends in a weird way on Friday night.
Yep.
But because these teams are in the position they are, it's shaping up to be something awesome in Proctorville. It's a tough place to go and play. Portsmouth's got their work cut out for them tonight, and I'm sure Fairland fans are happy to be home.
And then,
tonight.
of course, it's not the only recent history between these two schools. You'll remember just a couple years ago in 2023, it was 15-seeded Portsmouth who knocked the 2nd-seeded Fairland Dragons out of the playoffs in Region 19. So, again, a lot of recent history between these two squads. They'll play matchup number 13 between each other later on this evening. Should be a great one. That'll be over on 95.7 WNXT. It's the is it the Portsmouth County Game of the Week or something like that? Or I'm not sure how they brand that these days.
That's just Scioto Valley football.
Scioto Valley football. Yes,
Scioto County
it's gonna be good. I know that game's gonna be worth your ears. Is that Chuck? Is that Chuck?
I don't know who's on the call.
I can say
down
if
there
that's Chuck, it's very much worth your ears.
Could
Not
be
just
Mark
because
Williams.
of how
I think
Mark Williams is great
calls
too.
the
He does a fantastic job. He did a great
Mark's
job with that
phenomenal.
game last week.
Yeah.
So
You
yeah,
can't go wrong with
you
any of the
cannot go
sportsmen
Strong. Chuck, Mark, both of those guys do such a great job. By the way, all of our commentators do a great job across all of our Total Media networks. A lot of very hardworking people who put in tons of time outside of their occupations, put in a ton of work. So huge shout out to all my commentators out there across our Total Media networks. Let's jump to the monster matchup in the SOC1. Beaver Eastern, Sims Valley. 6-0 versus 6-0. You really could just shut the replay off there and just say, well, that's the stage.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's a bit more to that. The quarterback duel tonight is phenomenal. You've got Eric Manley Jr. on one side. The stats, the weird thing about it is the stats are honestly a little down from 2024. And we kind of predicted this in the preseason because they have a bit stronger of a run game this year, right? They've got Jack Montgomery, a sophomore in that backfield. He's got almost 700 yards already on the season and 10 scores. But that's kind of decreased Manly stats, but it also hasn't at the same time because guess what? He's got 18 total touchdowns. Yeah. He's got almost 1,000 yards in the air. He's got another 150 on the ground, right? He's done such a great job for this Beaver Eastern squad. But there is a new challenger standing across from him, a sophomore by the name of Bronx Carpenter. Great name, out in Viking land. And let me tell you, this guy has a cannon attached to his right arm, and the football goes at will for this guy.
Yeah, both of these guys you mentioned, this is going to be one of the best quarterback duels in Southern Ohio.
Agreed.
In Week 7, both Eric Manley, he can flat out sling it as well. He does it his own way. He's got some guys that can catch the ball in the backfield and do some serious things with it. So, Manley, he's got the capability to get the ball down the field, but he really wants to get the ball out early. He wants to get it out in rhythm and get it to his playmakers.
He wants to get it to Boston Webb.
Yep. Boston Webb is a flat-out dog. A secret's out about this kid.
How about 22 yards per catch?
I mean, he's a big playmaker. He is a huge playmaker.
10 of the 13 touchdowns that Eric Manley has thrown have been to Boston Webb.
There you go.
And you think about as well the talent that they had to replace on the outside. A couple of those big performers from last year's playoff run have graduated.
Yeah.
Boston Webb said, "Well, this is my shot to shine." And
it's not what I thought you were going to say.
No, I can't.
I'm just kidding.
It was funny because obviously for my baseball fans out there, Cam Schlittler had such a fantastic outing for the Yankees last night. And let me tell you, I mean, there were plenty of puns out there for people out there. But look, we don't need any FCC violations, so we're gonna keep it PG on Football Friday kickoff. But again, big matchup between two schools. For me, it's prove it for Sims Valley. They've had some great success, and they've put up a ton of points. They average just about 48 points per game. But this is by far the toughest team they've seen so far.
It's going to be the toughest team they've seen. It's also going to be the most physical team that they've seen. And I think that could be the difference in this football game. Eastern wants to come right at you. They want to run the ball down your throat. They want to pitch you hard on defense. And I think it'll be interesting to see how the receivers for Sims Valley match up to that style of play defensively, because I can promise you these DBs at Eastern are going to get after these receivers.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be press man right at the jump. And again, the physicality could be the difference in this one. We'll see if Sims Valley can match it. I think that's the big key. Can Sims Valley step up to the plate and match that physical nature that we're so used to seeing from the Eagles? We're going to step aside here once again on Football Friday kickoff. We got plenty more to come. We may hear from the head coach of the Unioto Sherman Tanks a little bit later on. We're also going to hear from Alec Thompson and Austin Gautier of the Nelsonville York Buckeyes in just a few minutes. Once again, you're listening to Football Friday kickoff.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoles.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
Welcome back to Football Friday Kickoff. Ethan Sergeant Eric Landrum, and now we've got the athletic director here at Unioto, Matt Combs, here with us. And now joined by a couple of the stars of this Nelson New York squad, Austin Gautier and Alec Thompson. Gautier, running back, cornerback. Do you play corner as well, Alec? He plays out.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, it's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select items at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you're planning for the hunting season, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southernisoles.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
All right, let's try that one more time. Hopefully we can get it right. Again, everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to point at myself for this one because I think this one was my fault. We're back on Football Friday Kickoff. Ethan Sargent, Eric Landrum, and the athletic director here at Unioto, Matt Combs, joins us. And the first thing I have to ask you about, some of these guys are warming up behind us. They've got these beautiful, right? We got a nice white helmet, and these are a clean look, but these purple chrome helmets look real nice on those caps.
Yeah, this is the first night. They're busting those out. We had a business guy, Marty Kokenauer, Water Express. He's responsible for funding those. And I know the kids, when they first saw those, Coach Hoops says they were pretty stoked.
Oh,
sure.
I'd be too if I got to put those on. They're a clean look. It's going to be all black tonight, right?
Yep, it's a blackout in the crowd. We had a company, Dwell Realty, and North Pregame Village. They bought 700 T-shirts, I think, for our student body today.
Ooh, that'll be
we
sweet.
got those all passed out, so our student body's going to be in all black. It should be a pretty cool atmosphere here tonight, for sure.
You guys have created such a cool system here, and honestly, you guys are going to mess around and call yourselves a football school. Be careful here. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's been a good. Coach Hoops has done a great job with this program for sure. I mean, it's you're seeing a lot of excitement here, obviously.
Yeah, well, and this is one of the few venues I saw someone in the stands at 4 o'clock today. I saw Nona Sue Clark up in the stands, and she took my ear for about a half an hour, gave me a full rundown on all things Uni.
I got here. So they're actually opening a Canes in Athens, but before the Canes here was pretty much. I mean, he was here. Lancaster was the closest Canes. I came here at about 4 o'clock. I sat down. I ate my Canes, and he was over there the whole time.
She likes to talk, but I like to listen. I'm okay with
nothing wrong with that. It's great.
You got a killer culture going on, though. I was taking it there to set all that to say this, I guess. Give us a rundown of what's going on around Unioto athletics across the school right now. I'm sure it's bigger than football at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get over just how successful our fall's been for all our teams. I mean, obviously football, you guys are going to talk about tonight. And Coach Hoops, when he took this program over, I think had a vision for what he wanted it to be. And part of that vision was participation, honestly. And he's got like 60 kids out close to. And it's just really taken off. But, yeah, beyond football, our volleyball team, I think, is like 17 or 18-3 right now.
Ooh,
so, they're looking at a high seed coming up in the tournament. Our boys soccer team, again, I think is going to do well in the tournaments. They've had some injuries and things. They're finally healthy, so I look forward to them. Our girls soccer team, I think, is 10-4. And they're having a good year. We just had 3 girls tennis players, Sadie Lamerson, Margot Lewis, and Mackenzie Welch qualify for the districts. We had a couple of boys golfers qualify for the districts, and Callaway Ratliff and Sammy Lewis. So we've had a lot of success. And then I would hate to forget our cross country program because they're like state level. I mean, they'll compete for a state championship. They'll be right there. Our boys cross country team and our girls cross country team is really good too. So
were they out running prior to this when we got here? I thought that was them. I thought that was them.
They were ready. And look, it is October 3rd today, and it feels like it's about August 15th. But
I mean,
they're out here trooping. I used to run back in the day, and they were rolling and looked great. So
those guys run. I mean, it's like I mean, you'll see them out in the dead of winter without their shirts on, right?
Yep.
I mean, they don't care, man. They're very, very dedicated program. Coach Uten, has taken over for Matt Paxton, who's now at Rio Grande. And it's been a good program for a long time. So we're really proud of all of our fall sports. They've done great work so far.
Yeah,
Coach Paxton's
absolutely.
filling big shoes in Bob Willie down there
Yeah.
as well.
No doubt.
So I obviously football is the big focus right now, but I was there at the Convocation Center last year. You guys played one of the greatest basketball games I've ever watched. Obviously, it might have left a little bit of a sour taste, but you guys bring back a lot of talent to that team as well. You lose some great seniors, but you bring back a lot of talent as well. And then baseball, you guys had another great season as well. So what's that like to be truly compete on all three of the biggest sports for the boys side, being able to be competitive and near the top of your region in all three?
Yeah, it feels great. And I think a lot of it goes back. Really, a couple things. I think that we're fortunate to have good coaches who are dedicated, who put in a lot of time to developing programs, and our kids. They work really hard. I think, there is a certain inner competition just to be one of the main people on a team. You got to earn your spot. And so our kids are constantly in the weight room, constantly out here. They put in a lot of work and effort. Just kind of competing for their own position at first, and then, of course, when they get into the season, competing with others. So we've been very blessed. In my 4 years here, we've just about every team we've had has made a significant run.
Wow.
In the tournament. So it's pretty cool for me.
One more question, Coach. We'll get you out of here. You mentioned competition and earning your spot. We've got a guy right now for our team that's earning his spot. How would you suggest that a non-athlete like J.J. Hale contribute to our team here at Total Media?
Well, the best non-athlete story I can tell you, J.J. and I were on the golf course one time. He was struggling. He was mad. And at the time,
very easy to get mad
at the time, his son Moose was a little guy, and I was like, well, how's your boy Moose doing, And he said,
trying to coach him up. Help him out.
I'm trying to get him in. I was like, He's like, what's it matter? His dad's a non-athlete. That's what he hits me with. So I was like, at that point, so that's been the joke before. Like, JJ will forever be a non-athlete now, self-admitted. So
that is awesome.
I'm glad to see him getting back in radio.
Yeah,
though.
we're
He's
glad
good
to have
at it, for
JJ
sure.
back on the team. Absolutely.
awesome.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate having you on. Sorry we had a little tech hiccup, but we
that's
got
all
you
right.
on anyways. And we appreciate your time. And good luck through the rest of the football season. And, of course, for you throughout
All right.
basketball season.
Hey,
Good
thanks
luck.
for being here, fellas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. So now we will play you that clip here from this is Alec Thompson Alec Thompson, Austin Gautier from the Coaches Show this past week over at the Gem Sports Bar in Athens. Huge shout out to those guys, by the way. They do such a great job getting us in there and hosting our program there every Tuesday night, 6 to 7 over on WXTQ Pure Rock 105. Had the chance to sit down with two of the Buckeye stars as they look to try and finish a 10-0 regular season. And now joined by a couple of the stars of this Nelson New York squad, Austin Gautier and Alec Thompson. Gautier, running back, cornerback. Do you play corner as well, Alec? He plays outside of receiver and cornerback. So let's start with you, Austin. Obviously, you're the lead back, bell cow back this year. How has that been, kind of shouldering the load? And then on top of that, how good is it to have a couple of guys that can help you in the backfield, in Cody Cunningham and Walker Stone?
Yeah, so you obviously have to start with the offensive line. Without them, it's not going to work. Also, I heard Coach Richard say this a couple weeks ago. When you get them plays where we're getting like 15, 20 yards a carry, you got to credit the wide receivers for that because that's downfield blocking.
Yeah.
So. And then, I get out of breath. Just having some guys that can come in and, get a couple reps, and I know they can do it just as well as me, so it definitely feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. Alec, you kind of had a little bit of a slow start to the season with that little, that little minor injury that kept you out a couple weeks. How has that been getting back in the fold and working through that?
It's a lot better.
That's good.
I'll be the first to tell you, it sucks, especially like a big game like Trimble. Every year that's the game you look forward to in the summer. And then, it sucked being held back, but just grateful it was in the beginning of the season compared to the end. So I got to, come back, heal up. I've been able to play the past weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. For both of you guys, that Waterford game, just talk me through what happened, the chaos. You came down with the key late 2-point conversion, which helped, secure the victory for the Buckeyes, which was a crazy moment in a crazy game. Just take me through the emotions of that.
We talked about all practice. Coach Oz was telling us that they're going to come out punching, and I don't think we took that as literally as we should have, for sure. They got a quick lead on us. We had a good first drive, but we just didn't keep up with the rest of the half. But, you know, going into halftime, I feel like a lot of us, especially the seniors, had the confidence in the locker room to, know that, we got to win this game. It's our last year. We want to go undefeated on our field,
Yeah.
So after that little halftime, we came back. We were all motivated. And there's just a different kind of energy in the air compared to the first half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we didn't start off too hot. Like he said, we had a first good drive, but after that, not too well. Going into halftime, Coach Oz asked us, he said, who in here thinks that we can win the game? And everyone raised their hands. And I don't know, after that, I just felt like we were going to win. It didn't matter what happened. So we definitely came back out and played a lot better half. We had a lot of key plays. So in that second half, we kind of looked at it as it didn't matter what happened in the first half. Look past it because it's over. There's nothing you can do about it.
And then you had that one key play in particular on the defensive side, that big pick. What'd you see there, and how'd you make that play?
Well, before that, actually, Coach Cunningham told me to sit on that. He must have seen it coming, so I listened to him, and it set me up perfectly for that and gave us the short field, and offense capitalized off of it.
Absolutely, and that was a huge win for you guys. You guys sit at 6-0, looking to try and get to through TVC play unbeaten. Talk to me, you guys both, about how much development you've seen out of your quarterback this year. Cam Sullivan really trying to take some more steps this year. What have you seen from him to try that he's gotten a lot better in 2025?
I think it starts with confidence. Last year, it's his first ever, varsity playing time at quarterback. And first game's a big game, first game's Trimble, And he's had a lot of time to develop through the summer, through practice. I think he's a lot more confident throwing and, as you can see, running the ball. So I think, reminding him, the player he can really be, that's going to help all of us. It's going to help the run game, going to help the pass game. It's going to help basically everybody on the field.
Yeah, so last year, he had an awesome season last year, but this year, like he said, I think he's a lot more comfortable, and I think he's also realized that he can run the ball too.
Yeah.
So he's had some games and some plays in general just where he's kind of took the ball and just went with it, and it's worked really well for us. And like Alex said also, when we run the ball well, it opens up the pass, and that just helps him out even more because it just opens everything up for him.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you guys think your best performance so far is on the season? You could go, say, individual game or more as a team, up to you guys.
Honestly, looking at like a full game, I would have to say Logan.
Mm-hmm.
So they got us last year, so I think we just came in. We had a chip on our shoulder. We came in, and I think everyone just played well. Like everybody, we threw the ball well, we caught the ball well, we ran the ball well. So it was that was a total team effort, and I think that's probably been the best game so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we had a very well-rounded game. Obviously they got us last year. All week through practice, we were very determined to get revenge. We didn't want to drop a game that we shouldn't, We had a lot of confidence in everybody, so that's just a game we needed to pull down, and luckily we spread the ball very well. Everybody did their part, and it was a pretty dominating win.
Absolutely. And you guys are 6-0, right? You've got a lot of big wins on your schedule, and you've got a lot of big games, and one game in particular that I know that you have your eyes on. And the big thing about that, right, and I just talked about it with your assistant coaches, is staying focused on a week-to-week basis, right? Staying on track. So how are you guys kind of locking in on a game-to-game basis? Because you guys, look, with all due respect to the teams you're going to play, leading up to that Athens game, you're going to be favored in every one of those games. How do you keep kind of the train on the tracks and understand that, you got to go week to week, you can't get caught?
Yeah, I think it can be pretty easy for just the whole team in general to look at these next couple weeks and be like, oh, this is an easy game. We don't need to try and practice, that type of thing. But I think our coaches and just seniors in general, we know it's happened before. So I think that we know that we need to stay with high energy, and we just can't look past each team that we're playing, like you said, because what we're doing these next couple weeks is for Athens. If we're messing around these next couple weeks, we're just wasting time that we could be preparing for Athens. So.
Yeah, every single week, we get breaks. We say it in the huddle. We say it in the locker room. You got to go 1-0 every week, So we take everything week by week, handle our business, and then sooner or later the success will come to us.
Absolutely. Last thing I've got for you guys, what is one thing that you think either yourself or the team, or you could say both, could improve on before that Athens game?
I think communication is definitely a big thing. You know, if that's with DBs, if that's with backers, I think defensive communication is a big thing we need to work on. You know, if the other team doesn't score, they can't win the game.
It's true.
So basically, big thing is communication, being on the same page, and that's something we need to work on.
Yeah, communication for sure, and that also goes with the offensive line too. On the offensive side of the ball, I would say probably turnovers, and just little like holds that we're getting here and there, because we had, I think he said 6 of them the other night, and that's about 60 yards. So that could be a couple drives, you know, that could end it in scores. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks guys. Much appreciate you both coming on, and you guys are great. Thanks a lot.
At Slark's Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive Family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dane Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
To go through these one-on-one, but I'm going to stick with you on this one. I'm going to go with Williamstown as well. I'm going to probably go with you on this one as well. Fort Fry taking on Greenbrier West.
Fort Fry until proven otherwise for me.
Me and you are on the same wavelength early. Fort Fry gets this one done. Warren taking on John Marshall. This was a signature win for the Warriors last year.
It was, but I think John Marshall's got their number this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go with John Marshall in this one as well. I think they're going to take care of business in this matchup. Let's go to the OVC briefly now. South Point taking on Chesapeake, 2-4 versus 0-6. Can the Panthers get their first win?
I don't think the Panthers get their first win tonight. I think South Point's going to lean on them with those big fellas. I'll take South Point on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Pointers on the road as well. You know, want to tell you something a bit interesting about this series? They've played 91 times,
a lot of football.
Dead even. 44 wins for South Point, 44 wins for Chesapeake, 3 ties, or way back in the day, they don't know the score. So it's a dead even, dead heat in that one. You had this one highlighted on your sheet. I want to know why. KIPP Columbus comes in at 0-6. They're taking on Colgrove.
It's upset alert for me here. KIPP coming into this one 0-6, but their last 4 games have been decided by under 8 points. Cincinnati College Prep, who was 4-2 last week, 38-30 in overtime. They've also fallen to Bishop Reedy, 6-7. Franklin Heights, who's 4-2, 14-8, and Northland. Those are big schools, by the way. They'll play Division 1 through 5, and they can play different types of football games. So I actually like them to beat Colgrove tonight in Colgrove. I'll take 2014.
Interesting.
The Jags.
I'm going to go with Colgrove just because I think they got the best player on the field. We talk about that a lot. I think Caden Turner's the difference maker tonight. Scioto Belize taking on South Galley. I think the Rebels get this one.
Rebels by a long one.
Yeah, I think the Rebels take care of business. I think this is another one that's pretty simple. Over on WZZZ, Portsmouth Notre Dame's not going into that big matchup with Beaver Eastern next week. Anything less than 7-0. I think they get it done against Green.
No question on this one. Give me the Titans as the Tanks take the field behind us here.
Yes, they do. Look, those are a clean look. Wait till you see them.
The all black with the purple top.
If you're watching on the stream, they'll come through on behind us. It's a very clean look for the Tanks. They all black with that purple chrome top, as you said. Portsmouth West taking on Lucasville Valley. Big game in the SOC 2. Feels like it'll be important for positioning.
It will be, and I think Valley plays better defense, and they can score in a lot of different ways. Give me Valley in this one.
I'm going Valley as well, but I actually think it's because of their offense. I think Anthony Aaron and that running back room will help them control the ball, and I think that's what gets them the victory in this matchup. Adena taking on Westfall in another matchup here in the Scioto Valley Conference.
I think Westfall wins this football game. Adena's going to have a hard time scoring points. I'll take Westfall 28-8.
I'm going with the Mustangs as well. Interesting matchup here between Paint Valley and Huntington. Paint Valley's won the last 19 meetings between the Huntsmen and the Panthers, the Bearcats. But the Bearcats come into this one 0-6. Can Huntington break the streak tonight?
The streak ends in Bainbridge tonight. Huntington's going to take it out of the township and take it to the Bearcats.
I'm with you on that one. I think the streak does end at 19. They don't get it to 20. There's one more SEC game. We're going to save that one for the end.
Makes
Zane
sense.
versus Unio. If you want to hear that game, by the way, it's going to be on 100.9 WXIZ. That's where you're going to want to hear that matchup if you're looking for a radio stream. Miami Trace taking on Hillsborough in the FAC. Interesting matchup. Trace 6-0. They're looking real good so far.
They are, and I think the defense is going to be a little stingier than Jackson's was a week ago. Give me Miami Trace 35-7.
My big thing for Miami Trace is I still am a little worried that their offense still could be a little one-dimensional. But the problem is when your one dimension is way better than everybody else's either dimension, that wins you a lot of football games. I think that's what wins them the game tonight against Hillsborough. Give me Trace. Waterford taking on Southern in the TVC hockey.
Waterford. Southern hasn't shown me much of anything all season. Give me the Wildcats, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Waterford as well. Waterford's won the last 12. They're going to make it 13 tonight. Interesting game, the Bend game of the week on 92.1 WVYK. Wahama 5-0 for the White Falcons. They're taking on Eastern Megs.
And Wahama scores a lot of points. Eastern Megs is going to have a hard time slowing that one down. Give me the White Falcons.
I think the White Falcons win on the road. That's 3 straight road picks for the both of us there between Wahama, Waterford, and Trace. Federal Hawkins on the road as well. They're taking on the Manchester Greyhounds. Lost a tough one last week, did Manchester. They're going to try and bounce back.
They got to bounce back this week. Fed Hawk comes to town. I'll take the Manchester Greyhounds to get it done at home.
I'm going to go with the Greyhounds as well. I think they get themselves a big victory, get up to 6-1. They're another one with some of those, like Athens, with the great record, but the L2 points aren't really helping them out because they've beaten a lot of teams that just quite simply aren't very good.
Yeah.
Let's go across the border. Point Pleasant's on the road, still in search of their first win. The Black Knights. They're taking on a school they haven't played since 1978. How about Nitro out in West Virginia?
The Wildcats, they call them, Ethan. The Wildcats are going to get done in this one. I'll take the Wildcats, 48-13.
Last time they played was a 20-0 win for Nitro back in 1978. I think Nitro wins tonight by a little bit more than that. I think they get it done. That one's over on 94.1 WTHQ, and this next one is going to be on WYRO 97.7, the home of the Vinton County Vikings. They're coming off the back of their first win against Alexander last week. They take on Northwest this week.
They got their first win a week ago. Northwest, much tougher opponent. The Vikings are going down tonight. Give me Northwest.
I'm going with the Mohawks as well. Let's go to ZXQ for one more SVC matchup. Southeastern taking on Piketon.
I like Piketon in this football game. They're going to score a lot of points. 34-12, Piketon over the Panthers.
Yep, I'm in agreement with you on that one. I think Piketon get the job done. Berg, they got to be careful, right? It's a come-down spot after such an impressive win, but they'll feel confident in a victory over Oak Hill.
They have to come down a long way to lose tonight to Oak Hill. I'm going to take the Berg, maybe the biggest spread of the evening even.
Yeah, it might be. I think Berg gets it done pretty comfortably. The last time Oak Hill beat Wheelersburg was in 2010. I don't think that changes, at least in the near future. That one's over on WCJO, the home of the Oaks. Over on 95.9 WXIC, which is the home of the Waverly Tigers. They're back in Tigertown tonight, taking on the Minford Falcons in the SOC2.
Yeah, unfortunately, Waverly's going to have a hard time slowing the Falcons. They're the Minford Mighty Falcons down. Give me Minford in this contest.
Yeah, I think Minford gets it done as well. They've got an interesting blend in their offense as well. A couple of decent runners, a couple of decent pass catchers as well. Let's go back up to the OVC real quick. 97.5 WNXT, Portsmouth versus Fairland. Big matchup, big historical stake, big in real life stake this season for both teams, not just in terms of the winning, but in terms of the playoff seeding and in terms of the momentum heading into the last 3 games of the year. Who you got?
A lot on the line for the OVC in this one. I actually like Fairland to get it done at home. They've shown me a little bit more in recent weeks than Portsmouth. Similar opponents, especially Guy Academy, have taught me a lot here. I'll take Fairland in this one.
Yep, I'm going with, again, I'm kind of going through week by week here. I'm going to go with Fairland just because Portsmouth, to me, have not been consistent enough.
Yeah.
That's been the big issue. They've had a couple of great performances. They've had a couple of not-so-great performances. I haven't seen it consistently enough. To be fair, I have not seen it consistently enough from Fairland either, but I think I trust the Dragons a little bit more than I trust the Trojans right now, and I think that's why I lean the way of the Dragons. But this one really feels like a toss-up. I think it could go either way out in Proctorville. Let's go to one more OVC TVC game over on WBYG 99.5. Galley Academy taking on the current leaders in the clubhouse in the Rock Hill Redmen.
I know Dalton Gerald's excited for this football game, but Rock Hill's playing at a different level right now. I'll take Rock Hill 35-14.
Yeah, the fantastic Unioto marching band coming in
good.
behind us here. But I think the big thing for this game is it's another classic look-ahead spot for Rock Hill out in Pedro, but I think they get it done. I think they get it done because this team has not blinked yet much this season. I think that Rock Hill gets it done tonight at home. Let's go to the matchup tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to see an angrier football team than the one that you're going to see out in Uniontown tomorrow as Ironton comes to town. They lost a game last week that I know they want back. They made some mistakes. They had some issues. They didn't get it done. They're going to be angry coming into this matchup against Uniontown, who are 2-4. They've lost their last 3 games.
The Ironton Fighting Tigers are going to be mad about that one, and they do want it back. They may get it back later on in the season.
They may
with Wheelersburg, but they're going to be rolling into Pennsylvania, upset Ironton by whatever they want. I got 42-7 on my
Yeah, I
board.
think Ironton wins this one pretty comfortably. I think there's some angry performances in this game from the Tigers. 2 big games in the FAC that we'll go back-to-back on here.
Yeah.
First off, this one's on 2 stations. 96.7 KOV is the home of the Ironmen, and 97.5 WVNU is the home of the McLean Tigers. So you've got your pick there of your broadcasters. You got your pick of your bias, should you say.
Sure.
And you have got your pick of the matchup here between McLean and Jackson. Maybe an intriguing matchup, maybe more so than it has been in years past. Can McLean pull what would definitely still be a big upset if they can get it done?
It looks better on paper, but we ain't playing paper football, Sarge. It's a real
You're
deal
right.
tonight in Alumni Stadium. Give me Jackson in this one. Mental hurdle for McLean is a real thing. 56 for the Ironmen tonight in Alumni Stadium.
Yeah, I think that offense is going to just continue to click now that Bodie's back in the fold, playing on a consistent late basis. I think Jackson gets it done. This one's a little bit tougher to predict. Over on C103.7, Chillicothe is on the road once again, taking on Washington Courthouse.
They're on the road. They're going to have to use full advantage of the weapons they've got at their disposal. But give me Chillicothe in this contest, 28-20.
Have we disagreed yet? I don't know if we have. I think
I'm not sure.
I'm going with Chillicothe in this one as well because I think it's not going to be because of Carte Ligon. That's my big take for tonight. I think they get some great performances from Tay Harris at quarterback, maybe Carter Williams on the outside that give them that second dimension, and that's the key for them. If they can get that going, look out for the rest of the conference. Let's go up to the TVC real quick. 3 big games. Let's start out with Trimble on the road at Belpre.
Yeah, I think Trimble's going to roll Belpre in this one. 34, maybe a shutout even. Might be 34-0.
Well, Trimble lost last week to Shenandoah 36-6. I know that doesn't sit well with Coach Ferris. Even though it's an out-of-conference game, even though it's a school that's a little bit farther away, I know that they're not happy about that. I think they're going to take care of business tonight against Belpre. The next 2 games are both on 2 stations as well. Let's start out with the one that's on 105.3 WYPC and the Pure Rock 105 game of the week on WXTQ. Wellston is out at Boston Field to take on the Buckeyes.
Yeah, things are a little rougher in Wellston than I realized after last week. I think Nelsonville's going to roll on this one.
Yeah, give me the Buckeyes by a lot. I think the big thing for Nelsonville York, you mentioned me here when we talked to Alec Thompson and Austin Gauthier a second ago, is they can't look ahead. You can't. You have to be living in the moment, be present in the moment. Kind of caught them last week against Megs. When I talked to a couple of those assistant coaches in the coach show, they said, look, we weren't pleased with that performance. And I think they're going to show it a little bit more this week against Wellston. Give me the Buckeyes. And then, of course, the team that they seem to be on the collision course with, the Athens Bulldogs, are back in action. This one's on 97.3, the home of the Athens Bulldogs, WHCH, which is where we run most of our Football Friday kickoff stuff off of, and 103.7 WNPO is the home of the Megs Marauders, who are paying a visit to Joe Burrow Stadium tonight.
It'll be a little tougher test for Athens than they've seen, but I think Athens gets it done tonight. Give me the Bulldogs.
Yeah, again, I mentioned earlier in the program, Anthony Sutton is still dealing with some soreness in his ankle. Probably won't play tonight. We'll see when he comes back. I think Athens will be okay. They do have Daniel Heitland back, and he played fantastic last week in that matchup. That's a big news for the TVC to have Heitland back in the fold. And then Briar Thomas can just go out and play receiver, which is where he's very comfortable at.
Yeah.
One more game before we head to a break, and it's a doozy. Beaver Eastern taking on Sims Valley. Battle of 6-0 teams. Who comes out on top?
The physicality for Beaver Eastern will be the difference in this one. Give me the Eagles, baby.
I'm going with the Eagles as well, and I think it's because of the experience. They've been here before. They have not lost in the regular season since, I believe, late October of 2023.
Yeah.
Right? Until somebody proves that they can stand and bang with them, basically. Stand and take the punches, take the hit. I just don't see people beating them.
Yeah.
Right? And that same goes for, obviously, they got a big one coming up against Portsmouth Notre Dame next week. The same kind of idea is going to get put onto that game as well. So we'll have to see who comes out on top. But look, Sims Valley got a shot tonight. With that offense, with what they're capable of doing, throwing the ball, averaging about 48 points per game, tough for Beaver Eastern to slow down. That secondary might be the key for Beaver Eastern tonight. If they can get those secondary to play well, maybe force Bronx Carpenter into some turnovers, that could be the difference for the Eagles. We're going to step aside for one final time here on Football Friday Kickoff, but don't go anywhere because we've got the preview of the big one here in the SVC between Zane Trace and Unioto. We're going to break that game down a little bit, and we're going to talk about who comes out on top next. You're listening to Football Friday Kickoff.
At Slarks Collision Center, we're more than a body shop. We're your neighbors, right here at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93. We're proud to serve Jackson with honest work and hometown care. Locally owned and community trusted, our team of technicians combine years of experience with the latest technology, delivering quality repairs every time. Seamless repairs and stress-free claims. Our friendly team of experts work directly with insurance companies, so you don't have to, getting you safely back on the road. Visit us at 965 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio, right at the intersection of US 32 and State Route 93, and experience our commitment to excellence. The Slarks Automotive family, here for you when you need us.
It takes determination to create a successful business. It's never easy, but always worth it. It takes making a leap of faith. It takes patience and late nights to reinvest in a startup. But it also takes asking for guidance from dependable people. All to turn a dream into a reality. People's Bank. Working together, building success.
Hi, my name is Isaac Slark.
I'm Max Gentry.
And I'm Dayton Neff.
Together, we founded Southern Iowa Souls, a nonprofit helping students in need.
We work in 28 school buildings to identify students in need of a new pair of shoes, then deliver shoes to those students to help them learn, play, and grow confidently.
Since our beginning in 2023, we've been able to donate nearly 400 pairs of brand name sneakers. Without support from our community, this simply wouldn't be possible.
Scan the QR code or visit www.southerniosouls.com to donate today.
Willis Advantage Property Solutions delivers dependable, full-service property maintenance you can trust. We specialize in asphalt repair, infrared patching, surface cleaning, parking lot striping, and powerful hydrojet drain cleaning, serving industrial, commercial, and residential customers across the region. From small fixes to large-scale projects, we get the job done right, on time, and on budget. Call now for your free consultation at 740-577-4574. Willis Advantage Property Solutions. We protect and maintain what matters.
You've been watching Football Friday Night, sponsored by Slarks Automotive Services.
All right, Eric, let's do this real quick. Last couple minutes here on the show, let's talk about this big clash. Let's start with the running backs real quick. Bryce Johnson for Zane Trace, Corey Braden for Unioto. Bryce Johnson's got 838 yards on the ground on 83 carries, just about 10 yards a pop. And then for Unioto, Corey Braden's got 754 yards on 65 carries. That's about 11.6 yards a pop. They've got 26 total touchdowns between them, 11 for Bryce, 15 for Braden. It's a lot of talent at the running back positions.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me, and what could be the difference of this game, is that Unioto's got that passing attack going.
Yeah.
They've got 5 receivers with over 100 yards on the season.
Yeah, they do, and they've got the balance everywhere on offense. Let's keep it in the run game for just a moment. The way that Unioto runs the football is much different than the way that Zane Trace in that backfield is going to try to attack you. Unioto is going to use a little bit more zone and a little bit more counter type of play out of that spread run to attack you with Cody Braden, whereas Zane Trace, a little more downhill type of football that you're going to see when Bryce Johnson has the football in his hands. The offensive lines for these two in the trenches could end up being the difference in this football game, but for me, Zane Trace is going to have to take advantage of their opportunities, but they're going to be few and far between. Unioto gets it done tonight.
This is going to be a tight game. I think it's going to come down to those little mistakes, and I think the first half is big. Because I think if Unioto gets up, it could get ugly because they have the capability to do that. But if Zane Trace can keep it tight and keep it focused, they got a shot. But I think Unioto's just got too much firepower. Give me the Sherman Tanks in this matchup. Huge thank you to everybody at Unioto for letting us hang around and even giving us this beautiful helmet, even though they're wearing the nice purple tops tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in to Football Friday and Kickoff. We'll see you on Football Friday night in a few hours after the game.